Hi, Possum Patty from Pennsylvania here, and I'm looking at my Sktchy 30 pages 30 days in March challenge, and this is welcome to day 18, and the tips and prompts today are all about making your own stamp or stencil. And I just happen to have in the closet this Speedball Speedy Carve piece of soft something, rubber, plastic, not really sure, flexible, will not break, and a set of Speedball Speedy Carve knives. Now this isn't the tag that came with these knives, this was from another piece of plastic. So this is a very old Speedball set. I can get it out of the package. I don't know when this is from. Made in the USA. Looks kind of old. I used to have another one of these with a wooden handle. Maybe that was even older. So, printmaking supplies. What I'm going to do is make a stamp for today's challenge. And I was working on some possum sketches. Here's a possum that I have at the end of the video. I was thinking about that. I might still do that one, but right now I might do a little bit more realistic possum, baby possum. This one right here. So I think the first thing I have to do, I'm not an expert by any means at doing this. I'm going to kind of make this up as I go along. I did do another stamp. I have that in the closet. This was my first attempt at making a stamp, and I did this mushroom carving. I think I only used this once. It's kind of big, so I want to make something a little smaller. I am going to just loosely trace this. First of all, let me remind you that this is not a tutorial on how to make a stamp. This is just the trials and tribulations of me trying to make a stamp. Like I showed you, I'd made a stamp before, but it took me the entire sheet of that plastic to make that one rubber stamp. Trial and error again. You learn by doing. So I had a hard time tracing the image onto the rubber. I'm sure there's an easier way to do that. I got my tools. I had a lot of problems with the Speedball. The little ball that's inside that holds the blades was stuck, and I couldn't change the blade, so I took out the wood carving tools to try to use some of those, using the scissors to trim around. Use the ink pad to put some ink on the stamp, and it gives you a better idea of what you need to carve away and what's still there. I learned that doing the other stamp. Here I'm using the blade without putting it in the handle, like I said, because the first blade was stuck in the handle and I couldn't get it unstuck, even with some tools. I've got most of the stamp carved up, so I'm going to try it, give it a little test on the paper, look for areas that need to be removed. Again, using that blade without a handle, because the Speedball was stuck. So I finished up the first one, which was supposed to be a possum, but wound up looking more like a little porcupine. And I decided to go ahead and try another one. So I'm going to try the possum this time. again using the speed ball, only this time my husband had come in and helped me get the blade unstuck, the little ball unstuck, and so now I could change the blades. Some things I learned: you carve away from yourself, use the ink to see where you need to carve some more, remove some more. And maybe the tools were so old they were dull, but this pink stuff was kind of hard because it bends and stretches and kind of like carving pink bubble gum. So here I have my two little critters, my little possum and something that looks like a porcupine maybe, not quite sure. I've got ink all over my hands. Instead of wiping off the ink, I grabbed my journal and smudged ink all over the journal page. I decided that these two critters were more like elements than designs, so I was just going to go ahead and put these on the page and take some notes about making stamps and what the tip and challenge for the day was, and then come up with another stamp that looked a little bit more like a design element. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.